Morning, good morning, good morning. It is 5:30 on a Sunday morning. We are recording. It is 5:30 on a Sunday morning. That means it is time for us to pull a toy out of the toy box, a random object out of the Random Object Randomogrifier, if you will. I'm going to go ahead and spritz these watercolors so they're nice and juicy. That way I won't have to scrape them later. This is when we pull a random object out of the Random Object Randomogrifier and we draw it and we talk about the object. Today we have a CR90 Corellian Corvette Tantive IV. That is a significant ship in the Star Wars universe because I broke my lead. Because it is Princess Leia's ship. It's the very first ship we see in the opening scene of Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. It is flying in space above Tatooine, and the Imperial destroyer comes zooming in over the top of it. We get the exciting feel of the expanse of space, of the giantness of these ships. I'm going to do a little composition here. I've got to have room for the shadow, and I need room for the ship. And the ship is long, so I'm gonna just kind of sketch in a composition. I may have to make it smaller than I initially intended to, because the ship is small, and that's the reason you want to not skip the composition phase. It's so common. I see all kinds of people do it, especially on YouTube. I see people just start sketching, and that's fantastic if you can do that. But don't skip the composition phase, or you won't know if your drawing is even going to fit on your paper. So it is a very important part of the process, especially for me, because I have a tendency to move around, and when I do, I lose track of where things are on the page, where they're supposed to be on the page, and my perspective changes, and I lose my, if I don't have my anchor points in place, I won't be able to find my way back. Now I know that what I have on there is going to fit where I want it to go. You see it? If I hadn't done that page, you can see I already started. When I first started, I started with the shadow right up against that wall, and this was great big, and that would have put this way out here. If I had skipped that stage, woo, I've been mad at myself. Anyway, this is we said this is a CR90 Corellian Corvette. A Corvette in space, if you will. As true Star Wars fans know that you don't watch the show out of order. You have to watch A New Hope first. So in the whole series, this is the first ship ever. And I hear people say, no, you can watch them. You can watch the movies chronologically. No, you cannot. There are too many plot twists and surprises. If you watch the movie in chronological order, it will give away all of the plot twists and surprises. have to watch New Hope first. We have to hate Darth Vader before we find his redemptive arc. There's an awful lot of detail on this thing. I am really glad that I didn't pull this out of the box on a Tuesday morning, because there is an awful lot of detail on this thing. I don't know if you can see, but I'm pretty sure you can't. The little escape ships are on there. There are three A-wing escort ships attached to the exterior of this thing. I'm not going to draw all that. I'm going to give you essence of spacecraft. This is a 30-minute show. This is daily morning practice. And I want it understood that if you only have 30 minutes, if you only have 10 minutes, draw for 10 minutes. You don't have to capture all the details. You don't have to finish every drawing. If you only have 10 minutes, draw for 10 minutes. If you only have 20 minutes, draw for 20 minutes. If you only have 5 minutes, draw for 5 minutes. Just don't not do it. Say, well, I don't have 30 minutes, so I can't do it. I don't have time to finish that, so I can't do it.
to hang up.
Okay. How about now? Can you hear me now?
I don't know. I can't hear you. I can't hear both on my phone.
Ivy, can you hear me now? The only problem with this microphone is it picks up all the music too. I guess my microphone died while I was talking. Oh, hello. I said hi to Ivy when she came in. Now I feel bad because I don't know when it stopped working. And it's really loud. I probably should turn it down just a little bit. Let's see. Y'all tell me if that's too loud. Because I don't even know which microphone that is. Did you hear me at all? Did you hear me talking about not letting the fact that you only have 10 minutes stop you from doing it? Don't worry about all the details if you don't. Did you hear me talking about the fact that this was originally a concept design for the Millennium Falcon? Did you hear me say that this is Princess Leia's ship? This is the first ship that we see in the Star Wars universe. Is the significance of this ship, is why this ship is so cool and important. But the fact that it was the original concept design for the Millennium Falcon is probably why it has so much propulsion. Okay, my mom's scolding me now. Yeah, I don't know when the mic died. I'm not sure what happened there. But Christopher must have got us. Yeah. Christopher must got us that when the mic died like that I must have said something that upset Christopher. That's our ghost. He's our gremlin ghost. So anyway, I'm only going to put enough detail in here so that when you look at it, you go, oh yeah, I see that. Because there's a lot of detail on this. This is a Micro Machine toy. Micro Machines were very adamant about detail. But can you imagine if they had gone ahead and used this design for the Millennium Falcon? How much different it would have been. Nobody would have thought that was nearly as cool.
All right. I think my base drawing is a little bit off. I think I got lost in some of the lines. You just thought I was really, yeah, that happens. Ivy says that you were just really into your drawing. Yeah, that happens. So I can see how you might have thought that. I sometimes get a little carried away. Like I said, just enough details so that you can recognize that it is spaceship. My mother's the same way. Yeah, I'm sure he just had his tongue stuck in the side of his cheek when he's trying to make them lines. Sometimes I lose track of what I'm doing. So you see this thing in its first appearance is in A New Hope. And then you see it, you know what, let's finish erasing the lines. And then you see it again in the Clone Wars cartoon, which is a prequel to A New Hope. And then you see it again in Rogue One, which is the prequel where we find out how Leia got the plans aboard the ship to begin with. I don't really remember it being in any of the other prequels. I don't remember seeing Bail Organa fly it anywhere before Clone Wars. Doesn't mean it didn't happen, but was the diplomatic vessel for Alderaan. When Darth Vader shows up and says, "You're a spy. This is a diplomatic vessel. You're a spy." Anyway, that's where we first discover the vessel. That's when we're first introduced to it. A couple of interesting things about it. How are we doing on time? Now it's 10 till. We got to really get a move on here. This thing sold at auction. This model sold at auction for $450,000. And when George Lucas pitched the movie, in his pitch for money, one of the things he asked for, he agreed to less money for the actual production, as long as he could have merchandising. And everybody's like, "Why, are you gonna sell T-shirts?" How many Brazilians of dollars do you think that won him? They're still talking in the chat room. It's not easy to, after all, it's not easy to talk and create. It is not easy to talk and create. But then my mom's like, after all, it is Star Wars. And it is especially easy for me to get caught up in Star Wars stuff. But honestly, my buddy Jeff, when I was a kid, my buddy Jeff and I made a deal. You know, I traded him my Millennium Falcon for his sister. I don't think we could have made that deal if this had ended up being the Millennium Falcon. This isn't anywhere near as cool. I mean, it's a cool ship, mind you, but it's no Millennium Falcon. So there's no way I would have been able to trade this for his sister. His mom made his trade back, by the way. Which I thought was rather obtuse. Yeah, we don't see the ship, Ivy. We only see it in the opening credits, in the opening scene of the New Hope. If it hadn't been for the Clone Wars and Rogue One, we probably never would have seen it again, because those involved Bail Organa, the guy that had adopted Leia. So if it hadn't been for the prequels coming back and showing us again, we probably never would have seen it again. Alright, that's enough of that. I need that to dry. Actually, I think we can move on. It's just a little bit of a it's just a little bit of a sepia color. There's some reddish stripes. A reddish stripe here. There's a reddish stripe here. There's some red there. So other than that, there's not a whole lot of color on this thing. My favorite part, though, of all the stuff I learned about this thing yesterday, was the designers, when they built this thing. I'll tell you what, let me do this real quick, and we'll come back and we'll talk about the Easter eggs after the hairdryer. Give me just a second. Let's run the hairdryer real quick, and we'll talk about the Easter eggs while we ink it. I'm gonna have to put this hairdryer someplace where I can reach it. It's up there meant to be where I can stand up to get to it. Alright. So when they designed it, when they started building the model, it was still in concept as the Millennium Falcon. It was still intended to be the vessel of a scoundrel. And so the cockpit has a Star Wars poster hanging on the wall. You can't see it in the movie. It doesn't show up in the movie. But if you're in front of the model and you look through the windows of the cockpit, you can see there is a poster for the movie hanging on the wall, and then you can see they have 1976 Playmate of the Month hanging, her centerfold hanging. Deborah Borkman. They have Deborah Borkman's centerfold hanging on the wall because, you know, nerds. And the fact that you can see it through the window if you're in the presence of the model. The fact that you can see it through the window makes it hilarious to me. Because you're thinking, this is, I mean, let's stop and think about it. This is supposed to have been in a galaxy far, far away, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And they're supposed to be space traveling. But you know, Jabba the Hutt put Leia in that little outfit. They're supposed to be in light space traveling culture and stuff. But Jabba the Hutt put Leia in that sexy little number, right? We're almost done. Matter of fact, I'm going to go around the edge one more time like this. I'm going to date it. Today is the 22nd. I already feel like the days are shorter than they were yesterday. Yesterday was the longest day of the year. So there we go. And then the camera, somewhere along the lines, the camera stopped changing. So we've been stuck on this camera for who knows how long. I'm telling you, man, when gremlins strike, gremlins strike. Let's see here. Safely eject. Turn this microphone off. At least my phone microphone was working the whole time. Alright. Oh, and then the whole thing fell down and tried to kill me just then. Alright. Camera. What's up with my camera? For some reason, my camera's trying to wash me out. There we go. All right, so there's the finished thing from my perspective. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Let's see real quick. Let's see what's in the tubes for Monday. I think it's this one. I hope it's this one. Yeah. So for Monday, girl Girl 2's already pulled out a toy from the box, and it is a low crawling soldier. He appears to be either Korean or Vietnam conflict era with his M14. So that's what we'll draw tomorrow. That's what we'll draw tomorrow. If you're seeing this and it's before 5:30 a.m., that means that we're about to start doing it right now. So just stick around and we'll do it. But as I'm filming this, it is Sunday morning and it is 6 o'clock and it's time to call it a day. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to doing it every day. This is, you guys keep me accountable for my art practice. You're my art besties, so we come down here and do this every day at 5:30 a.m. Be sure and tune in tomorrow. Same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. We dance. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing. Dance until they say they see me dancing, because when they see me dancing, it means that the lag has caught up with the stream and I don't have to worry about being cut off in the mid of my sentence, and I want to make sure that